how correlated our health and our wealth really is. How correlated these foundational things, these fundamental things are.
Welcome to the good life.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast, where we talk all things health and wealth. I'm one of your hosts, C. Muzan. Got Coach Kabi here in the building. Say what up, Coach.
Got to do it proper.
Let's go.
Got to do it proper.
Proper.
Got to do it proper.
Proper.
Got to do it proper.
Proper.
God dang it.
It's not proper.
What up, though? I can't extend it. My mic won't let me.
Your mic won't let you. I forgot.
Nah,
your mic,
bro. We we have to change behavior.
That's very true. We got to adjust, right? Making adjustments. But appreciate everybody joining us. Welcome everybody. LinkedIn. That was the one place we're not going right now.
Literally the only place.
The only place right now. But Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everybody, we appreciate you guys jumping on and joining us. As always, we're here to have these conversations around health and wealth. And both Coach and myself are on a fast today.
That's right. That's right. Instagram, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. You should be on my close friends. Now, it ain't got nothing to do with closeness of friends, because I don't know most of you. But that's where I share behind the scenes of what I'm doing. So if you want to tap in there, Instagram, make sure you get, just send me a message and I'll add you. A couple of you guys have already sent me. Actually, I think we got like 10, 15 folks or so sent me a message already. You should be added. If not, let me know. But yeah, we out here fast life, baby. That's what we do. Come on, right, man. You catch me on that bone broth, you're gonna get it.
Fast life. Hey, this is the good thing about having people that are like-minded in their journeys. And Coach hit me up and was like, hey, you want to do a 3-day reset? Like, just got, coming off of this holiday gauntlet, right? A bunch of stuff. It's like, all right, you want to do a quick 3-day reset and whatever that looks like to you. And it's like, of course, right? Like, I already had that in mind. Like, all right, I know, since I'm always on the journey, improving, designing our ideal life, it's like, hey, a reset's going to help, right? A little shift in habits and behaviors is going to help. So let's make it happen. So I'm doing solid food vacation. So today it's all water. It's a water fast today. I got juice coming into juice tomorrow and the following day, because today was my day one. You're on day 2 today, huh?
I'm on day 3 actually. So tomorrow's my final day. So you if you've done this before, the way we do it is we always airplane in and airplane out. So technically I'm doing like 5 days, but one end cap day, meaning that, one day beginning and one day in the end, I'm doing all fruits, right? And then I go into I didn't do juices this time. I did fruits and juices on the same day, and then I went into my broth water day, and this is the last of the broth water days, and then I'm gonna come back up, if you will, right, like an airplane coming back down into water and bone broth.
Hey, give the people real quick, because we got some new people listening. Like, shout out to Dawn over on TikTok, right? What's the purpose of airplaning?
Yes. So one of the biggest mistakes I see, and one that I made myself, is, our body needs time to adjust to things, right? And so going from, oh my gosh, I've been eating, pumpkin pie and I still been stuffing down Thanksgiving food and all of that, sugar and all the, and I'm drinking a ton of caffeine and I'm doing all that stuff. Because guys, it's not just about the food, it's also about the habits, and it takes some time to adjust, right? So say, for example, you've been smoking weed, drinking alcohol, drinking a lot of caffeine, eating a lot of fast foods or fried foods and things of that nature. Maybe you've got like a porn issue going on for a lot of the dudes I talk to. We're going to be real on this show, guys.
Yes, sir.
And all that stuff is coming at you. You got a ton of stress, maybe, right? To go from all of that loud noise in the life to all of a sudden, like, water it's too drastic of a change. It's too much of a shock to the system. So airplaning in and out, meaning that you're going to take a couple of days to prep, right? Slowly walk your way down. And I have a page in my book here that has a chart that shows you, right? You know, maybe first you'll get off of cooked foods, just raw solid foods, and then you'll go into liquids, right? So that might take a day or two, right? And I have found both in experience and in research that the better the better you airplane into the fast and out of the fast, the better experience you'll have and the more effective the fast will be, and the more the changes or the things you're trying to implement will last, right? So if you're just going in cold turkey, bam, I see a lot of people really struggle, right? And they also might try to carry on some habits through the fast. You know, for example, I could talk to my smokers out here, right? It's easy to think, oh, I feel pretty good. I can change my food, but I'll still smoke, right? I doable, but it's
really tough.
Trust me when I say it's hard.
Yeah, really
it becomes because you one thing leads to another, both just in terms of habits, but also one thing leads to another just in terms of your body, right? Your body recognizes certain signals, right? So we have to take our time to slowly turn the temperature on the water so we can cook that frog.
That's huge. That's huge. And appreciate you sharing that. Because again, a lot of the people that are listening maybe just aren't as familiar or haven't dove in as much into a life of fasting or a fast, kind of moderating themselves, being, we talk a lot about self-awareness on here, right? Being self-aware of these things and then moderating. So it's good to give people that visual. I remember the first time you gave me that visual, it just made perfect sense, because you do go from all of the craziness down to like, I'm not eating anything. It's like, that's why people like kind of push their head back. It's hard. It's rough.
Right.
But that
your body will fight you. Your body will fight you.
Yeah.
Bone broth recipe. That's in the book, bro. That's in the book. Oh shoot. Nobody has it yet. That's in the new book that's coming out. It's called Gut Right. Gut Right. Go ahead and get your gut right. Dougal, you're familiar with the gut right system intimately. The new book that's coming out has got the bone broth recipe at the end there. And I will say, guys, honestly, no joke, this is by far my best batch of bone broth. By far. I mean, this thing delicious. It is delicious. Even my wife yesterday was like, "Oh, this is your best one yet." I said, "Word, thanks, baby."
Chef Curry with the pot over there.
Yeah, boy.
That's it.
Yeah, boy.
That's it. Making it happen. But hey, we
hey, what's going on, DCM? How you doing, bro?
This is just what Coach and I do. This is why we talk about this. Again, we don't tell you or encourage you or like give you any of the information that we're not applying ourselves, that we're not doing ourselves. So this is just another example of us putting into practice the stuff that we talk about. Health and wealth, right? Both sides, making sure that we are designing a life that we don't need a break from. But thank you all for tuning in again to another episode of the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast. Hey, if you want more, catch us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all your favorite streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you join our Facebook group, Health and Wealth for Busy Professionals, we go live there every week during the episode. And also you can chat with us anytime. That's where you get the most access to us. And we host cool workshops, give you a bunch of insider tips, all that type of stuff. So it's not just a group, it's a community for self-improvement. So join in and live the good life, y'all. Quick word from our sponsor.
That is right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready to level up your style, then listen up. The Good Life Visual Audio Podcast just dropped its first piece of merch, our exclusive Follow the Money t-shirt. It's not just clothing. It's a statement of your commitment to mastering your health and wealth. So be part of the movement and get yours today and support the show. Just visit the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast store using the link in our description. And remember to always follow the money.
That's right, y'all. Let's dive into the segment of the show we call Shop Talk.
Shop Talk. Da-da-da-da-da.
Hey, it's getting better.
That's it, guys.
It's
That's
getting
it.
better. It's okay. It's getting better.
That's it.
We told you we're working on it. We're working on it.
Trying.
Whoever's dropping us some fire in there, there we go. Instagram for that shop talk.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Hey, here's what we're talking about. Bronny James has been fully cleared to return to USC basketball. Is expected to make his collegiate debut within the next few weeks. It's been something that I'm sure people have been anticipating and waiting for. None more than probably his family, like his father. But also in the same story, LeBron was being questioned, and I don't know if he actually said that he would, but it's being debated. Will he miss a Lakers game to go see Bronny play in his first game? If it happens to fall on the same day, maybe they're coordinating it, maybe they're not. I don't know all the details, but what are kind of your thoughts on that? You think he should get a pass because it's his son? People are in an uproar. Like, what do you think should happen in this situation?
Yeah. So OG, what's going on is LeBron actually was asked about it. And he did state that he already told his teammates that if Bronny's first game falls on a game, a day where the Lakers are also playing, he will not be at the Lakers game.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
And he said, he finished it off with like, I love to his teammates, directly to his teammate. I think this was in the locker room. He said, I love you guys, my family over everything. Now, two sides, right? First, family over everything. We all have some form of family, and we understand that, right? And so, somebody like LeBron, who's been playing in the NBA for 21 years, has probably missed a lot of birthdays, a lot of Christmases, a lot of Thanksgiving, a lot of time at home. It's refreshing for him as he probably looks to the end of his career to try to regain some of that time with his family. So we can all completely understand that as to why he would say that. And also the man has put in the work. 21 years, still looking like one of the best players in the NBA, still well conditioned. You can never say, the one thing you can never say about LeBron James is that he has never, ever, ever cheated the game, ever, right? This man shows up, he's prepared, he's ready to go. So if he's going to take, a day to go see his son who just had a cardiac arrest, right? Who's to say that that's a terrible, terrible thing, right? So that's one side. On the other side, though, OG, this is it. I understand everybody has a family. So what about the other NBA players that he's playing? What about his teammates? What if Anthony Davis says that? He will get crushed, right? Partly because he hasn't earned the cachet to say that, but he would get crushed. So LeBron, as the leader of the team, what kind of example are you setting by making it so obvious? But I will say this is my opinion. That's the two sides. My opinion is, this was one of the few times that LeBron didn't present his case as well as he could have. So if he simply changed what he was saying to, listen, this is my firstborn son. He just had, based on what he's been through recently, for him to return back to the court, right? We didn't know if he would play basketball again. For him to return back to the court, it's extremely important for me as his father to be there for this. And it's a regular season game. So I'm not saying it's not important, but this is a little more important in this season based on the situation. I think it would have probably been received better.
Absolutely. A little bit more context, a little bit more explanation probably would have gone a long way. Shout out to Dougal saying they aren't LeBron, right? And like, no one had, like, even if it did happen to somebody, even if someone else was like, hey, I'm not going to make this because of X event, like you said, they haven't built up the same resume as LeBron. Like, not everybody gets a chance
Dougal
to say those things.
I'm gonna give you a chance to defend yourself when you come on the show. But I'm sad to report that it was once upon a time where young Dougal uttered the most disgusting sentence I've ever heard. He said, Blake Griffin was better than LeBron James at basketball. Oh man. Hey.
This was what,
Dougal,
2000? This was 2010? What was it,
this
2011?
this was like 2015,
Oh,
2016, I was
man.
2015. I was like, what are you talking about, young Dougal? I was disappointed. But Dougal, you have an open invitation to come defend yourself. What happened, man? What happened?
Listen, I'm gonna defend Dougal just for this one, right? You can always change your mind. Opinions can always change. You hold the right. What you're saying? I hold the right to change my opinion.
I reserve the
There we go.
right to change my mind.
There we go.
Right?
Dougal,
That's fair. That's
Dougal,
fair. It
Dougal
is
can
fluid.
change his mind. That's
It's
right.
fluid. It's
That's right.
fluid.
But my only take on this one thing is I believe in LeBron, right? Family over everything. I think it has way more sentimental value for the entire family than any single regular season NBA game could ever have. Where it is a slippery slope, like you said, is as a leader. Now, what does that look like for other players if they take off for their nephew's birthday party? I'm sure no one's going to get that, granular, but someone may be like, well, if LeBron can, then,
Why
level
can't I?
levels of importance, right? Like
Right.
if my mom dies, like, can I go, like, you know what I mean? Or do I play this game? I think that opens up that door. But in all honesty, like, who cares? Family over everything, for real. His son almost died on the court. He's going to get back on the court. He needs to see his family in the stands, both sides. You think it's a big thing for LeBron to be there watching his son? I bet you it's a big deal for Bronny to see his dad in the stands, like on his first collegiate game. So, nah, it's not really a debate.
Well, OG, actually, some of the rhetoric that I heard was interesting because one reporter was saying, or commentator, right, a pundit, was saying that he lost his father and had to show up for a show, like we're doing here. Hmm. He showed up for the show, did the show, and then after the show, told everybody he had lost his father, and then went to the funeral. So he says, if I can do that, why can't LeBron? Right. So, I think context matters.
But here's
what. But it's tough.
I'm just saying, like, that's a different scenario. True. This might hold a little bit more weight because these people are living. Right? Like, in all honesty, like
that's terrible. What are you saying?
I'm just saying.
They dead. Who cares? They're not here no more.
Listen, there's some things, in all honesty, if we're gonna like kind of debate this out, like there's some things, nothing can be done in that situation. If so and so passed away, like, I'll get there. There's nothing I can do. I console the loved ones around, but like nothing's gonna happen. This is a live, situation that all of these are memories of the living, of Bronny, of LeBron, of his mom, of all of it. Like, this is important. And I don't think anyone should debate that, knowing all of kind of what's happened. Like, your child almost died. I might have quit basketball. Like, I might have just, right, like, been his coach and his, like, I don't know, doctor, medical assistant or something for a time. Like, that's a scary place to be. So, absolutely. Bron, go to the game. I support you. Ronnie's the Lakers will figure it out. The NBA will figure it out. The media will run with it, but you're doing the right thing with your family.
Fair enough.
Into the next part of our show, which we call 2 by 2.
2 by 2.
So this is our time for a segment where we give tips and advice to entrepreneurs and business owners. Today, we're talking about examining family traditions. Again, we're in the holiday gauntlet, right? We're going through it right now. And there's some traditions that our families hold that now we become a part of. But how do these add or take away from our health and wealth? Let's talk about it a bit, specifically for the entrepreneur.
Let's do it. We always say it comes down to habits, right? So if the holiday season, your family's habit or your family's tradition is that everybody overeats, everybody gets drunk, everybody, overspends on gifts, there's a lack of discipline, families pulling you away from work as an entrepreneur, it might be time to hit the pause button and just examine how this is affecting the goal that you're trying to achieve, right? Is this really serving you, right? Now, we just talked about family and how important it is with LeBron James and what he's going through with his son, etc. But this doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm never going to spend time with my family ever again. But it might be just an opportunity for you to educate them about what it is that you're up to, right? So that you can get them on board, so that you can do the things that you need to do for this season, right? To further your goal, your career, your business, your whatnot. So don't be scared to have that conversation, because it really might be what opens things up. Now, quite frankly, I say that, but most families will buck. That's the truth. We'll push back. All right. Oh, you think you're better than us now? Oh, you blah 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 blah. Oh, you're not gonna get drunk with us. Oh, you're not gonna eat Mama K's pie and blah 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 blah. But that pressure is exactly why we get stuck in family traditions that don't serve us.
That's right.
That's my thoughts.
That's exactly it. And the reason why in this part of the segment we talk about business owners, entrepreneurs. We know some of you live in the, right, the actual corporate athlete, right, at the job, making things happen, climbing the ladder. But this specifically, this topic for the entrepreneur is so crucial, because especially if you don't come from a family of entrepreneurs, if everyone at your family, like in your family, the majority of your family, 95% of them have some form of a job and have some employee mindset, every time we get around the holidays or these seasons, some of these traditions are going to, that now no longer serve you. It's going to be like swimming upstream, because now, just like you said, they're going to push back a bit more. But that's normal life for an entrepreneur. Everything in our life is like a pushback, right? It's going against the way society has it, or the way our family has it, or the way we were programmed. There's so much of entrepreneurship and business ownership that is like the opposite of what it is that the masses do, that this is just another small piece of it. But I want everyone to be more aware. Some of the things that I've learned kind of during these seasons, especially from the entrepreneurial standpoint on the money side, two things. One, your family tells you to slow down because they're slowing down, right? Employee mindset, it's holidays. I think we said this offline, like people might take off the whole rest of the year, like from the middle of November all the way through January, maybe like the end of October all the way through January. People just slow down and take off in that employee mind. But as entrepreneurs, we don't do that. We don't have that same luxury to say, hey, I'm going to take off weeks. I'm going to take off a few months. One of my old business partners used to always be like, it's a holiday, not a holla month. You know what I mean? And sometimes we take it like, oh, it's the whole day or the whole month. I'm supposed to quarter, right? Slow down and do it. So that's one thing as an entrepreneur, you got to know, like, don't let your family slow you down just because they're getting together and doing all the fun stuff and da-da-da. You got some goals, you got some dreams, you got some focus, like you got some things you had to hit before the end of the year, right? Like there's some real things in place. So that's one thing I see. The other side is on the financial side. You touched it a little bit, but also like the gift giving, the obligation to feel like at this time of the year, I have to put out more out of my financial life, right? That's a tradition. Like, oh, what would it be like if I was the only one that showed up without a gift? Or I know mom gets lavish gifts and these things, but I this year only want to buy people books or whatever it is. That isn't always received well. But you got to know that you have to take care of your personal financial life. And regardless of what the rest of the family's traditions were, if it no longer suits your financial picture for this year, then you have to make adjustments. You have to be like, hey, guys, I'm not right. This year, I'm only going to give X amount, or I'm going to limit it to a certain amount, or maybe I'm not doing gifts this year, or maybe I'm not coming over this year. Like you have to be able and willing to do that to keep control of your financial life as an entrepreneur specifically.
Yeah, you're spot on, OG. You're spot on. I actually had to do this with my family, just get to a point where I'm just like, you know what? we're not going to do this gifting anymore, because there are way more there are better ways for us to utilize our collective resource as a family. Right? We can pull together and do something better than buying gifts that nobody's going to use for an extended period of time, or toys that they don't need, things they don't need. If you need something, good. But as a family, can we pool our resources together? And instead of buying pointless gifts, can we make handwritten cards for free, right? And then pool our resources and do something that will help the whole family, right? Can we do that? So, I totally agree with you.
That's such a big point. I think like we should, I don't even think people think that way. That might be our clip, right? Like, Ash, we might need to clip that part up, right? Like, what does family economics look like where instead of spending all of our money on gifts that we're not going to use next year, right, towards the end of the year, what if we all put it together to go buy an investment?
Yeah. What if every year you buy an asset?
Yeah. Like,
and there's definitely lots of families that can do it. Oh, we can't afford that. How do you know? We can definitely afford it.
I bet you, man, I don't know how we'd get this data, but I would say it's really high. I'd say it's probably 80% to 85% of what's happening with all our social right now. My Instagram just cut off. Your TikTok's going crazy. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so 80 to 85% of families that are actively spending money for that are actively spending money on holidays, on Christmas, on whatever you celebrate, right? If they're actively spending money, 80 to 85%, I'm sure, I'm just making up that number, but I'm sure if they actually pooled the money together, they could buy an asset, like every an actual year. Like every year. I don't, yep. Hard pressed to find people at such a poverty level and not spending money on Christmas and holidays that they wouldn't be able to put it away.
They'll borrow.
They do it already.
They'll borrow to be able to give that thing, because it's almost like they feel worse. Oh, we've been poor all year, blah 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 blah. Right? It's almost like you feel worse. I know this because that was my family. And it's like, so pops will go borrow to fulfill these commercial holidays, right? Whereas, if we did things a little differently, pull our money, maybe not every year, maybe every other year,
maybe,
right? Let's pull birthday monies too.
Love it.
Right? So if you can't do it one Christmas, what about all our birthdays? What about all the stuff we spent for Thanksgiving? What about the stuff what about pulling all of that? And every other year, you grab an income producing asset. Hey man, these are just off top. These are just ideas off top. So y'all take it or leave it, man.
We just throwing out ideas, y'all. Y'all can do what you want with it. But again, this is how we get to that good life. This is how we shift completely our financial life. If we start making different choices, going away from what society has programmed us to do and really thinking for ourselves and what we want and what our families deserve, and then start living our lives according to that, we might reevaluate a lot of this type of stuff. You know what I mean? It's great to get together over the holidays, but again, are these family traditions helping or hurting where you're headed in your health and your wealth? That's what you got to evaluate this holiday season, y'all. Cool. Another word from our sponsor.
Let's make it happen. Are you a busy professional looking to level up your health and your performance? Look no further than our sponsor, Cut the Noise. We offer personalized nutrition, tailored movement programs, and stress management techniques to help you look good, feel great, and perform at your best mentally and physically. Here's the best part. We are no longer running our end of year challenge. However, if you are watching the show or you find this somewhere, I will honor that, or we will honor that, to get you started for 90 days for only $1. So make sure you tap into that, guys. I will honor that if you tell me that you found this through the Good Life Visual Audio Podcast, I will still honor that. Anywhere else, we no longer honor it.
You heard it here, I guess, first.
Yeah, very, very first. So we gotta update that.
That's right. We'll make it happen. Into the show. It's an important one. Those of you that have been listening, and again, we appreciate everyone that continues to engage and listen and follow all that stuff. We really do appreciate you guys. We want to make sure that you are getting all the information and the community that you need to support yourself in getting to the good life. But we decided over these last few episodes to really dive back into the fundamentals, to the basics, to the foundations of health and wealth, right?
That's right.
Last episode, you heard us talk about the foundational of finances, right? Our financial foundation, kind of the 5 things we got to do, pay attention to make sure that we are building proper foundation to get to where we want to go. Today, we're going to dive into the health side of things, and Kabi is going to dive in and talk about those foundational things that we should be thinking about in order to, again, to be able to build and propel ourselves to where we want to go. So, Coach, take it away.
All right. Now, I really put on my coach hat. And guys, try to really simplify this as much as possible, not to overcomplicate it. So imagine you have, let's say, a pyramid, or maybe not pyramid because that's bad connotations these days, but a triangle, a triangle, 2D. And you have 3 levels, right? So I'm going to speak to the 3 levels of health. So let's start at the bottom. At the bottom, I think the one that we most people have a natural gut understanding about, or if you don't, this is the time to get it, is really alignment with what I'll call alignment with nature, right? But backtracking a little bit, guys, what everyone wants, at least everyone that I talk to, is they want more energy. They want to feel energized. Nobody has ever told me I want less energy. Nobody, right? Nobody has ever told me that. So when you look at it, what are the things that give energy and what are the things that take energy away? That's the bottom pyramid. What are the things that give you energy and what are the things that take energy away? Now, we're going to oversimplify it a little bit because there are some things that will give you temporary energy, but then will zap you long term. There are some things that temporarily may not give you that much energy, but it accumulates over time, right? And those things are hard for people to think about, right? So if I drink caffeine or I drink coffee, right, it gives me a lot of energy, but it will eventually, for most people, lead to some sort of crash, right? Or some sort of decrease in energy. Now, when that's happening, it's like credit. You're borrowing from the future, right? You're borrowing from the future. You're tapping into your future energy and you're using it now and you pay later, right? That's really what's happening. So we got to be aware of those things. What are those credit things, right? Things that give us energy now, but require us to pay back that energy later, right? And I think those things are things that they're false energizers. Right?
Do you want to list some of those things? I don't know if that was like, I mean, I know
caffeine.
I was going to say, we talked
right?
about a few of them.
Alcohol, right? For some, all types of drugs, actually.
Sure.
Sugar, right? So those are some of the things right there. Those are some of the main ones. And you notice,
I think social media is right there with it.
Sure.
Right?
Dopamine hit.
Yep.
From sure. Sure. There's y'all can add too, like on IG, on TikTok, you guys can add too. You're live participants in this show. Okay. So yeah, those are credit. You're on credit. You're gonna have to pay it back. Right? You're gonna have to pay it back. And sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's worth it because you utilize that credit to build something and you pay it back later. Sometimes it's worth it. I'm not saying anything is necessarily good or bad. It's based on the context, right? Based on the context. But for the most part, some of the things we just named are not worth it.
Right.
Truthfully, for the most part, right? There are some times when it is, right? You have to finish that big project, so you take some Adderall, right? Okay. Maybe it's worth it. maybe it's worth it, right? I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that just know you're borrowing. You're borrowing from your future, and you're going to have to pay it back at some point in time. All right. Now, the things that gave us cumulative, build cumulative energy over time, but we overlook because it's not as instantaneous as taking a pill or something of that nature. It's not as, whoa, why you're not, it's not like drinking coffee where you're wired, right? So, and those relate more to alignment with nature, right? And the more we align with nature, the more we get energy that isn't going to rob us later. It's not credit, it's real energy, okay? And I've said this before, I list these things. I've always said, money, as we know it, is really, what do I say?
Energy.
Is that really energy?
Yeah.
Right? You can't make money without transferring energy. Now, a lot of people, have this concept of like some guy sitting back and all he has to do is sign a paper and he makes a ton of money, blah, 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 blah. Go ask him how he got there.
Right.
There's some form of energy that went out, brothers and sisters, right? So don't be fooled. To make money, you have to expend energy. Now, the best example of that is that the first form of money that we really recognize is metals. Gold in particular. The reason why gold was such an effective form and still is of money, real money, sound money, right? Not just currency, is because it requires energy to remove gold from the earth and purify it. And there's a limited amount. So there's a natural cap, right? Energy. Let's go back even to the bartering system. Okay. Energy. You needed to put energy into your craft so you can have some goods to be able to trade. Energy. It all comes back to that. All right. So what gives us energy? All right. Basic movement. Movement gives us energy if done correctly. Now, this is one of the ones that's tricky because if done incorrectly, right, it can be harmful. If your other elements that we mentioned on this list aren't in place, if you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well, you're not doing those things, and you go out and do some ultra marathon, sure, shout out David Goggins, but ask him how his body's doing now. Go ask him how his body's doing now. I know you don't have contact David Goggins. I'm telling you, it's not doing well.
It's not. I was going to say, like, how is his body doing?
It is not doing well. Okay. It's not doing well. Okay. Exercise, if done incorrectly, which most of us do because we're not breathing correctly during the exercise. We're not moving in line with gravity. We're not doing, so we're actually breaking down the body. For most exercises, the most like 95%, you're breaking down the body and you have to recoup. I'm talking true anatomically sound movement actually should give you more energy. So for example, if you walk properly, right, our gastrocnemius, our calves, right, functions as our second lung. When you walk correctly, biomechanically speaking, it actually helps to move our lymphatic system, for example. But most people don't walk correctly. Most people's gaits are messed up, right? So then walking becomes a chore. Walking becomes, rather than building you up, it's breaking you down. Okay, so that's one movement. Next is obviously water. Water is guys, I'm refraining from telling people, oh, drink a gallon of water. Well, if you drink a gallon of shitty water, I'll prefer that you don't drink that. All right, I'll prefer that. Water's now is full of microplastics. I believe the stat is that on average, you eat about a credit card a week on microplastics. Crazy. That's going through our system, right? That's in our water. So what? It matters. Good structured water, there's a difference. Should give you energy. Okay. Then sun. God, I see so many people, misalign with the sun. What I mean by that is like they're either way too aggressive in that they're spending tons of time in the sun without progressive overload. What I mean by that is that their body isn't equipped to be out there, and they just go tan for hours. They'll go from not being in the sun for a month and then go tan for hours. Of course, you're going to burn and damage your skin. Of course. And then there's some people that are constantly hiding from the sun because it's going to darken their skin or do whatever the reasoning being, right? I come from a place, and this is not unique, but where multiple people will use bleaching creams, right? And stay out of the sun, right? They'll use sunblock. And, you guys can dive into your own rabbit hole here, but look at the rate of cancer and skin cancer post sunblock. Those numbers ain't looking good. It's not looking good, guys. I'm just stating facts, right? The sunblock that's supposed to help, after it was introduced, we see whoop, just like that, whoop, right? Just like that, guys. Whoop.
One more time.
Oh, so whoop, right? Right there. Skyrocket. What's going on? Okay. I don't use sunblock, obviously, because y'all can look at me and see. But for those of my brothers and sisters that do, please, just do a little research. Make sure that before you slather it onto your kids, just a little research. Okay. Then we have obviously clean air. Oh, notice I said clean air. Got it, right? Because especially you live out here in Los Angeles like I do, we all know what's going on. We have all types of things going on with our air, right? Things being sprayed all over the place, right? Companies putting all over things in the air, right? New technology putting all types of frequencies in the air, okay? Then we have obviously good food that's supposed to replenish us, right? In traditional Chinese medicine, many of y'all may know I study traditional Chinese medicine. Well, we call it nutritive qi. Qi that is just like that. Just like that, right? For those of you who can't see me but can hear me, right? Extracted from food. Now, how hard does your body have to work to extract that nutritive qi matters? Okay, if you're eating a bunch of dehydrated foods, your body works really, really, really hard to extract that, right? And then it leaves a bunch of molecular waste behind. Let's take another look at that, okay? Then we have sleep, obviously. I believe that we really belong in the sleep realm, if you will. And if we don't return to kind of this, the visual I have, right? We really belong. And if you've ever seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'm going a little woo-woo from some of you guys, that's all right, right? The Last Airbender, okay? We really belong in the spirit realm or the sleep realm. If you don't go back and touch base and recharge before you come to this realm or stay in this realm, you'll burn out. Just say it's what it is. Think about it. That's the way I think about it, at least, right? So it's the base. And then obviously we have laughter, which represents more than just laughter, right? But it represents that key element, whatever you want to call it, relationships, whatever you want to call it, that gives us energy, okay? So movement, water, sun, air, food, laughter, sleep. I think about all of these, you can think about it energy, but I also think about it as alignment with nature, being in line with nature, not fighting nature, but being in line with nature. All right. When we fight nature, that's when we have issues. Comments, OG.
So good, man. What's playing in my head is like, man, I need you to do a training for my team just on this, just on energy. But for all the entrepreneurs out there, all the corporate athletes out there, like anyone that's like, we could stop the show here. That this is enough to dive into. And if you just like kind of take a check of like where you are in all these areas, it's like, man, I need to improve in all of these, right? Like my basic movements. Again, we've had shows talking about technique, right? And how we're sitting, how we're huge. Right. We're how we're sitting and not able to move around, and right, all these things in our workday. Hence why, right? Again, all this contributing to low energy. Man, talk about water. We can't talk about, right, water consumption, hydration at all, right? You know what I mean? Like just having these conversations. Most people are dehydrated. because they eat dehydrated stuff, don't hydrate themselves enough, don't eat enough fruit, don't drink enough water, don't do any of those types of things, right? So that becomes something that people just need to understand. The sleep aspect of it. You know how many people just are not focused on their quality of sleep, right? They're just, it's like a tertiary thought, like, oh, I'm busy, I this, I get some rest here. It's like, what are you talking about? Like these are the components of how we get this energy, like you said. And I think people are really struggling with energy deficiency right now, and they're blaming it on many different things. I'm curious what you're hearing is like what people are blaming their lack of energy on. But just like you said in the beginning, like no one's coming to you saying like, I have too much energy. It's always the other side. But what's it coming from? Is it coming from you? We know, it's coming from these things, but do they know? Like, do they think it's just, oh, I'm overworked. Like I work too much at my job. It's like, yeah, well, let's go through some of these, right? Like what do you hear on that side? Because I think this part's crucial. That's why I'm so glad it's foundation.
Yeah. So, you talk about cash flow being number one. This is cash flow health.
Yeah.
Right. And when we talk about making deposits into our health bank, this is what we're talking about. All right. Because you're going to make withdrawals. That's just how life works. Right. But if you're not making enough deposits and you're making large withdrawals, well, you're going to be in debt.
That's right.
And you're going to have to pay that back at some point in time.
Energy bankrupt.
People give, exactly. Right. And when you're fully energy bankrupt, you die. Right. Truthfully, there is no actually, there's some bankruptcy, right? You can file bankruptcy a couple of times, right? Yeah, and that's where the healthcare system really tries to push us. Oh, don't worry about any of this stuff, right? Live how you want to live, or do whatever, and then or go work out. Guys, like it can be draining, right? A lot of people work out not to be healthy; they work out just for their mental health. So they're actually breaking down their body, but it works. It helps here. And they need this. They're trying to fix this. So they keep pushing their body when really they need to resort to some of these things. All right. So people give all types of stuff, man. All types of stuff, for real. People give all types of reasons. But it's because of a lack of understanding of this transaction, this natural transaction that's taking place. All right. And if we understand this, a lot of these things, guys, you could do in a 20-minute morning routine and take it to the next level, 20-minute evening routine. Like it does not have to be that crazy. You actually don't need to go crush your body in the gym. You need to correct some of these things first, right? You need to correct. What are the things? It's a add and a take. It's a deposit and withdraw. What are the things that are withdrawing? And can you take some of those things away? What are some of your expenses? Can you take some of those things away? And then what is your income? Can you increase that? Things that are giving you energy. Can you increase that? It really is that simple. And this is why we do the show the way we do it, because it's a perfect alignment, guys. And if you do this, now you have energy to go ahead and go do the other things that you want. But I would like you guys to get this right. Right. And one of the major tools that I use and teach to do this is what I call giving your body a vacation. I've actually shortened it to just give your body a vacation, just straight vacation. Right. Because food is one component. It really is just one component, but it allows us then to focus. When we remove the intensity of focus on food that's not helping us but actually hurting us, and we fix that, it allows us now to address all the other things. While you're on that fast, right? Are you drinking proper structured water? That's why we go to the juices. That's why we go to the bone broths. Are you getting enough sun? Are you getting enough fresh air? Are you laughing with friends and family? Are you getting good nutritive chi? Are you getting good sleep? Right? These are all things that we correct and resolve in a solid food vacation. I almost want to take the food and the solid out, guys, because it really is a vacation for your entire body to realign with nature. That's really what it is. It's realignment with nature. And I try to go to the more advanced things, but I realize that I actually need to spend a lot more time on just the cash flow.
It's huge, man. I deal with people all the time that have a low energy. I just don't have enough energy. And it's literally all those things you just named that they have some issue in and not giving
it's my
themselves.
hormones, my thought. Well, you know what? If you work nights and you blah, 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 that's going to mess up your hormones.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. But if we go back to this, I guarantee it'll improve it at least.
Waking up when the sun's coming up, going to sleep when the sun's going down, right? In alignment, just small things.
Yeah.
You do need to talk about it more because I know people are struggling with this one thing specifically, like this energy area.
Cash flow.
Exactly. That's what
energy cash flow.
That's it. And that's why, again, parallel to money, because I believe the number one thing people struggle with financially is cash flow. Right? It's the number one thing. It's just they either don't make enough or they spend a lot of it and they need more. So, man, good stuff.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Dougal. Dougal knows what's up. All right. So, guys, once you have your a surplus of energy, then you can focus on other things. The next one I have, and this I separate a bit, is I'll call it consumption. What are the things that you're watching, touching, hearing, speaking, feeling? What's your environment like? Because that is going to dictate a couple crucial things. And what are those things? Your self-image, how you see yourself, and your belief system. Those two things will dictate your altitude, your aptitude. Right? I think that's the word, aptitude. Right? How high you can go, how high you can, how far and how high you can go. Right? A lot of those things we can control. And that I would also include into that the voice in our own head, which is probably number one. The voice in our own head, how we talk to ourselves. Right. But that's also impacted by what you've heard.
Program.
You know good, blah, 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 blah. You hear that enough, you're going to think you know good.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to think you know good, guys. You see what I'm saying? So critical there. And then the other piece here is we are, what we speak, what we see, what we hear, what we look at. I put that there, guys, because it's so critical, but we overlook it. All right. We immediately go to, nutrition and workouts. That's health. That's what we've simplified health to: nutrition and workouts. Guys, nobody was counting calories. Nobody was counting calories in 18 something. Nobody was counting calories in ancient Egypt. All right. Y'all gonna tell me there was no healthy people there? There's no superior athletes? None? Well, I don't believe you. Right? That's not true. Okay. Then I believe the next step up from that.
Well, hold on. Let me
go ahead. Go ahead, OG. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, you gotta let me, because I know you're excited.
Let me sip those bone broth. You got
I'm excited too, because this stuff just hits home, right? Like the consumption piece, the consumption, ear gates, eye gates. What are we letting in? I just did a morning mindset call. I do morning mindset calls Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We throw them out there. We take 30 minutes to talk about consumption. Really, it's really mindset. It's just consumption stuff. And this morning, that's literally what we talked about. I think the saying was, world-class beliefs. Champions develop world-class beliefs long before they're actually champions. Right? Like a high performer, a corporate athlete has developed the beliefs first, and then they become it. And where do our beliefs come from? Our beliefs come from our programming, what we listen to, what we see, and what our self-talk is. Exactly what you said. There's a book, we'll probably pop it up here. It's by Shad Helmstetter. We re-reference this for a lot of people. It's called What You Say When You Talk to Yourself. Or what we say when we talk to ourselves, something like that, by Shad Helmstetter. It's a great book. Talks about self-talk. Here's one of the main key takeaways from that book. Too many times we listen to ourselves instead of talk to ourselves. So we have to learn how to talk to ourselves, good self-talk, instead of just listening to ourselves. Because listening, comes from is the programming of what we've consumed. And normally it's all the noise. It's all the stuff. It's all of that stuff that's in here. And then we start listening to ourselves. We're actually just listening to outside. And then we can't make the changes that we need. We get caught up in calories and working out. That's what happens when we are just consuming these things. So this is why we needed these foundational conversations. These fundamental foundation conversations get us both fired up, because this is rare. It makes the difference.
This is the gold. This is the 80% that, this is the 20% that delivers the 80%.
It's huge,
right? Of results, if not more.
Yeah.
If not more. Then at the top of the triangle, right? Because we don't want to trigger anybody by saying pyramid. Top of the triangle here is called optimization of movement. Posture, how you hold your body, how you walk, how you sit, how you run, how you throw, how you jump. Are you in line with physics? Are you in line with gravity? Again, are you in line with natural forces? Huge, huge. Life sucks when you're in pain all the time. All right. Life is terrible when you're not mobile. Can't move around. And we lose some of this over time, not because of age, right? If we had done, this might be for a future episode, Ash, so tired of people blaming age. So tired. It's so old. It's not your age. It's what you did with the time.
Very true.
Right? It's not your age. It's what you did with the time. Okay? Because I've seen 70, 80-year-olds. They don't look like others. They don't move like others. All right. I went to a conference a while back on scientific core conditioning with the great Paul Chek. Okay. Dude is quickly approaching 70 and out here doing things that 20-year-olds can't do. So don't tell me it's about age. It's not. It's 20% lack of knowledge and 80% lack of behavior. It's 20% lack of knowledge and 80% not consistently acting on these things. That's what it is, right? That's why our tissue hardens over time. That's why we lose mobility. We lose these things over time. It's what we are doing. It's simple, guys. We just complicate it. It's real simple. We just complicate it. All right. And this is why we shifted a focus, or at least over here, I've shifted a focus on teaching to implementation. I can give you the knowledge in 1 hour. You meet with me on a call, 1 hour, tell me everything you're doing, and I'll tell you exactly how to flip everything around. The rest of it is you doing it. Right? It's you doing it. And it's easier to do it in a community. It's easier to do it with other folks. It's easier to do it with a culture, right? Our culture is not to do these things. That's not the culture that we've built up. Our culture is to go to school and get a degree and get a job and go to school where you're traumatized by kids, by the way. You made all types of traumatic encounters at school. Then you go to college, get a degree, and then you go to work at that great firm that has you inside 24/7, no sun, no good water, etc. Then you buy that nice house with terrible tap water and blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? Wildness. Okay. But the top of that triangle, though, is extremely important. It is programming.
Yep.
Does that say my butthole?
That's what it said.
All right. Hey, good to see you, my butthole. Thanks. That's on Instagram, guys. For those of you listening. Optimization of posture, movement, and guys, this is huge. You optimize posture and movement on those things, right? Because it helps with basic movement. It helps with processing the energy from the sun. It helps with how you breathe. It helps with how you process it. You build resiliency, right? Because there's no way we're going to be able to get rid of all the pesticides and glyphosate in our foods. There's ways for us to mitigate that. There's no way for us to get rid of all of the things that's being sprayed and is in the air. There's no way for us to get rid of all the growth hormones that's fed to our animals, et cetera. There's just no way to get rid of the microplastics in our water, et cetera. There's no way to get rid of all of the forever chemicals, right? We can't do all of it 100%. So there's two sides of the coin always. There's mitigating, and then there's building resilience, right? There's mitigating, so we prevent by high quality foods, doing all of this stuff. But then, come on, man. Why are you on this? Why are you on this? Kangen water, reverse osmosis. Come on, man. My Kangen water is right over here. Right, literally right behind me, y'all. See, listen, y'all need to get on this. Y'all need to get on this.
My butthole knows a lot.
That's right. That's right. Kangen, yes. We utilize our Kangen water machine more than any other appliance in the house. Use it for cooking. I'm about to buy it's a little shower clip that you put on the shower that also cleans the shower, because it occurred to me that I shower like at least once, maybe twice, sometimes in the summer 3 times a day. Guys, what's in that water is getting in you. Okay, it is going in you. Okay, so again, we go back to cash flow, energy cash flow. Okay, but optimization of movement as well at the top of the pyramid is very, very important, but it's a lot easier to do. You cannot, let me give you a last piece here, OG, and then you comment. A lot of us have deviations in our movement due to trigger points. Now, you may know that I spent almost 2 years studying trigger points from with the lady, Cynthia, shout out to Cynthia, who studied under Janet Travell, who literally wrote the official book on trigger points. Okay, so I studied with her, and there's one critical piece. If your cash flow segment, right, particularly if your water and air isn't correct, I don't care what you do, you're not going to get rid of trigger points, because that tissue is dehydrated. When there's a knot, trigger point being an irritable nodule, right? And if this is your muscle, how it's supposed to run, this is a trigger point right here. It's a big old freaking tied up, right? And the resources that is needed to unlock that actually doesn't get to that part of the muscle. So over time, it dries up, and that part of the muscle like dies over time. Right? If you don't rehydrate properly, you're never going to be able to get rid of that, which means that your movement will be forever impaired. Okay, that's where you see all types of crazy movements from those who have aged without taking care of this stuff. Right? They can't. It's like even like stretching that out. Right, guys. I work out trigger points all the time on myself, and I'm fairly young. And I'm telling you, if you've ever worked out trigger points, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Right? It can be painful. So what you do is you first focus on drinking enough structured water, eating the right foods. Again, a solid food vacation accelerates this significantly. So during a solid food vacation, one of the big things that I teach is the type of movements that you're doing. Are they supporting that fluidity that you want in your movement? Right? And unfortunately or fortunately, I had to go to spend a good amount of money and time, 2 years, to kind of figure out the ins and outs of it. So happy to pass that knowledge on for $20,000. No, I'm just
got to put a price tag on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Man, this is solid. Obviously, understanding this triangle.
Let me get that midform. Let's get that midform out.
Yeah, for real. And again, this is what we talked about, right? Like this, we knew this is where the meat is. This is the goal. This is it. Like this is how our understanding of how to build to get to the good life, right? In our health specifically, how this foundation how this works, why this is important. And in all honesty, that top of the triangle, the optimization side, I feel like a lot of people uh aren't there in the triangle, but they focus on it. They think about those things.
Well, let me give you something else. They think about it, but the way they approach it is completely bizarre.
Sure.
Okay. Optimization of movement and gait. Very few people in the gym are even close, my friend, including me before I learned this stuff. And I was a certified trainer, right? I had one of the top certs in the industry. Okay. I had one of the top certs, nutritionally speaking, in the industry. 2 top, right? I passed with flying colors, guys. Like, I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you what it is, right? I crushed that stuff. I know it inside out. It didn't help me, right? It got me I look great, right? You saw the photo. It's like, whoa, dude look good, okay? But the type of stuff that's being taught to our trainers, our coaches, is straight garbage. It's straight garbage. Go in there and deadlift one. It's like all just like one school of thought. There are a lot of good things that bodybuilders do, but guys, if you're not a bodybuilder, please stop training like one. Especially if your cash flow is deficient. Especially if your cash flow is deficient. You got all these folks in the gym haven't slept, aren't eating good food, are in a terrible mood, aren't breathing correctly, haven't seen sun in a week, right? Because they go in at 5 when it's dark and they come out at 5 when it's dark, right? They don't drink good water. They don't have basic mechanics and movement. And they out here deadlifting 450 and squatting 405. And then they wonder why they have a degenerative disc. Come on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Don't make me mad out here, man. Come on, man. I walk into the gyms and I got to walk it back out. I'm paying for a gym membership I ain't even using, not because I don't train, because I'm tired of watching this stuff. And trainers encouraging this stuff. Hurts my heart, y'all. Hurts my heart. And they charging good money for it too. That's the crazy part. So you got to educate people just to get them what they need. You got to educate. I got to work so hard to teach you just so you can get the right thing for a lesser price. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Cue Marvin Gaye. I'm out. I'm done.
Final take. Here's my final take on today, because again, this is the good stuff, and I'm excited to always talk about the foundations. Part of me wants to like never talk about anything else except for this stuff, because I feel like there's one, I think this adds the most value to people's life. I know we're coming to you on the internet a lot of times, so you want to hear the flashy thing, the exciting thing, the trendy thing, the clickbaity thing. But Kabi and I are trying to give you guys the things that work in your health and your wealth, right? Like the actual things that you got to pay attention to. And so my final take from this is just how correlated our health and our wealth really is. How correlated these foundational things, these fundamental things are. Just to the point that in today's show, we can say that level 1, the bottom of this triangle for both health and wealth, is cash flow. That's it, right? And if people spend more time just focused on this side. Last week, we talked about financial cash flow. Makes sense. What's coming in? What's going out? How do you make money? Do you just have a job and a side thing? Is it just a job? Is it the business? Is it 4 streams of income? How do you bring it in? And then where does it go? How does it go out? Spend a bunch on fixed expenses. You have a lot of vices. Does it all go into savings? Are you in a bunch of debt? Like where does it go to your kids? Like where does the money go? Cash flow. It's the only thing most people need to focus on. The majority of people need to focus on. And then we have today's show where it's the exact same thing in your health. Your cash flow are those basics of giving you energy. Where does your energy come in? How does it go out? And how is it deplete? All of these things, becoming energy bankrupt, that saying that we just said, like, we're not focused enough on this stuff. And I think here on the show, we got to talk about this stuff way more just so people actually get it. Like, oh, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Like, stay here, fix this, like build this foundation. Doesn't matter how long it takes you. Just focus here. Just follow one course until successful. Focus here, the bottom level of this triangle, and watch how high you can build it in both your health and wealth. That's my last take.
Right. Great last take, OG. Listen, guys, you want to build your foundation deep and wide. You want to build that foundation deep and wide, and it will allow you to build a monument that can be seen from Timbuktu. Okay. One of the best ways to, if you notice that you are in an energy, if your bottom of your base or your energy deficient, right? You can feel it. Some of us may not feel it too. That's the crazy part. And we rely on all these tools. But if you know that's the case, one of the best tools I have found is giving your body a vacation. Give your body a vacation. In fact, not just your body, your entire system, your mind, your body, your spirit. You got to replenish it, repair it, guys. And you really, like, to do that, there's a process, right? One of the best processes that I found. And if you want some more information on that, definitely let me know. I just put together a new, I will call it book, but it's really a mini handbook, right? Only the things that you need, nothing that you don't. I shrunk it down for you guys. Make sure in the group, guys, make sure you let us know. Go hop in that Facebook group. Definitely get it to you there. Just let me know. Tell me gut right. Right? Let's get your gut right. Because Hippocrates, the father of Western medicine, tells us that all dis-ease originates from the gut. Whatever school or of thought this is not about diet. This is not about any of that stuff. Okay, I'm not preaching a particular diet. I don't care if you eat plants or animals, right? I don't really care at all. Okay, there's a way to approach this. There's a process, right? The gut right system, if you will. We'll work on the name, right? But let's get your gut right, guys. I put this together for you. So in the group, in the Facebook group, it's pinned here on Instagram. Make sure you get at me. Tell me, hey, can I get that gut right thing or the gut right book or whatever? And I'll get it to you. On TikTok, y'all hit me up as well. Get in that Facebook group. That'd be the best way for us to stay in touch in community. And then here on the show, make sure you look in the descriptions, right? And there will be a way for you to access that book, that handbook, that gut right handbook. And guys, it's a great place to get started. You could be a pro athlete, and I guarantee you there's a way that you can improve on one of the pieces and the energy level. Guaranteed for anybody, right? You could be one of the most healthiest people on earth. I told you guys my story, right? I was doing things, I'm not a lazy individual when it comes to this area. Okay. So I definitely was up there, but I still had issues, and I had to take a couple steps back to take steps forward. And that's why I put out this book and this resource for you guys. So definitely make sure you get that, and keep tapping in with us, because we're gonna keep this value coming. That's the name of the game, guys. We're gonna provide as much value as we can pack, but simplify it and make it digestible. Gut right, digestible. Let's get it, guys. Listen, we appreciate you. Anything else, OG?
No, I just said ha.
Thank you for your time this time, and until next time, peace.
There you go.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Good Life.
If you enjoy this episode, please take a moment to subscribe and like our channel.
If you have any feedback or suggestions for future episodes, please leave us a comment down below.
If you're listening to the podcast audio version, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you for tuning into The Good Life Show.
We believe that everyone has the potential to live their best life, and we hope our show helps you get that one step closer to achieving your goal.
If you know someone who would benefit from our show, please share it with them, and thank you for your continued support.
That's it for another week's episode here on The Good Life. We'll see you next week for another inspiring conversation.